Blog Talk Radio.
Uvisualeyes Show. You have tuned into the perfect community to connect with the most recent and leading authorities on creating the amazing life you prefer. On the Uvisualeyes Show, you will gain insights on how to grow and thrive in a balanced mind, body, and spirit. The Uvisualeyes Show offers you the top, most innovative, inspirational, and dynamic teachers, healers, and leaders serving our world today. Here you will be inspired by brilliant illuminaries, ushering in a new age of love, health, and prosperity that will help guide you on your self-transformation adventure. The Uvisualeyes Show is sure to be insightful, evocative, and enriching. So sit back and enjoy the Uvisualeyes Show. This is your host, energy healer and life transformation coach, Michelle Kraft. Thank you for tuning in. Please accept my gracious appreciation for all of you who tune in each time. Your excitement and enthusiasm is such a blessing. The Uvisualeyes Show comes to you today live from Dresden, Germany. And just so you know, at around 15 minutes past the hour, we will be taking your calls. If you missed the last show with Sarah McLean, author of Soul Centered, you can listen from the archives at your leisure at any time. And remember to check the schedule often for the next amazing guest on the Uvisualeyes Show. In the truly inspirational memoir, Dying to Be Me, Anita Moorjani relates how, after fighting cancer for almost 4 years, her body overwhelmed by the malignant cells spreading throughout, her system began shutting down. As her organs failed, she entered into an extraordinary near-death experience where she realized her inherent worth and the actual cause of her disease. Upon regaining consciousness, Anita found her condition had improved so rapidly that she was able to be released from the hospital within weeks without a trace of cancer in her body. Within the pages of her book, Dying to Be Me, Anita recounts stories of her childhood in Hong Kong, her challenge to establish her career and find true love, as well as how she eventually ended up in that hospital bed where she defied all medical knowledge. As part of a traditional Hindu family, residing in a largely Chinese and British society, she had been pushed and pulled by cultural and religious customs since she had been a little girl. After years of struggling to forge her own path while trying to meet everyone else's expectations, she had the realization, as a result of her epiphany on the other side, that she had the power to heal herself, and that there are miracles in the universe that she had never even imagined. In Dying to Be Me, Anita freely shares all she has learned about illness, healing, fear, being love, and the true magnificence of each and every human being. This is a book that definitely makes the case that we are spiritual beings having a human experience and that we are all one. Welcome to the Uvisualeyes Show, Anita.
Thank you so much. Thanks for that great introduction.
Oh, you're quite welcome. I feel so blessed to have you here with us today. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
So that our listeners know, you were coming to us from Hong Kong, right?
That's right. I'm sitting in Hong Kong at the moment.
And I hear you just made your way home through quite the rainstorm.
Yes, we have a rainstorm going on outside. It's what we call an amber rain warning, which means pretty heavy rains. But I made it home without getting wet in time for the radio
and you
show.
made it to be on the Uvisualeyes Show. That's so great. First, I have to say, Anita, your book had a deep and profound effect on my life, and many of my colleagues and clients have felt the same way.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I'm really touched. I love it when people say that what I wrote has had an effect on their lives. I mean, it just makes it so worthwhile for me. Yeah, it makes me feel that it was almost worth going through everything I went through.
Almost, right. Well, you explained several principles, some that I had heard before in my lifetime, but maybe in many different ways. However, when you said them, for me, they finally registered. And to use your experience, your life, and your understanding to give clarity to others in this world is truly a compassionate gift. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
And one of the things that, shifted for me, and I don't know why, you hear this over and over. I've been working on myself as a human being for quite some time, and I've heard these things. But one of the things that did shift for me, it was so simple, but it was God is not a being, God is a state of being. Mm-hmm. It became so clear to me suddenly.
Oh, it's lovely to hear you say that, and because that's really what I realized when I was in that realm. And when I wrote it, I wrote exactly what I felt. In my book, I was adamant to write exactly what I felt. And I even told my editor, I said, and it was compulsory when Hay House said they were making my book. They said, I have to have an editor. It's compulsory. And I said, she won't change the meaning of anything I'm saying. And they said, no, they won't do that. And so I was really relieved to see that she didn't change the meaning of anything. They just cleaned up my writing a little bit. But I was worried that a lot of my concepts would be changed. And when my book came out, there were a lot of things, like including that one, that I thought I would get some controversial responses to. But I've been very pleasantly surprised to say that I've had very, very little in terms of negative or controversial responses. Very, very little. So it's been huge, pleasant surprise and just amazing. It's just been an incredible ride since the book came out. I still can't believe it.
I know, and I love how synchronicity happens because this is an interesting thing I wanted to pass on to you. I met a few years back when I moved to Germany. I met this couple, Sam and Olaf Vogie, and he's German, she is Australian. They lived in Hong Kong, but they moved to Germany. I met them. She became my web designer. Then they moved back to Hong Kong, and then I was doing the show. I said, put this on my website, and Anita Moorjani is going to be on there. And Olaf says, I had dinner with her before she ever wrote the book. I went to dinner with her. So if you remember having dinner with Olaf, a German man in Hong Kong, I ended up meeting him here, and everything is so amazing how connected we really are.
Oh, my God. Yeah, oh, wow.
He does a lot of medium work. And so he said he was having dinner with you and some other friends of yours and everything. But I just think that's so amazing, that connection. In the first chapter, I wanted to ask you, it says it's called Growing Up Different. And you talk of the effects of multiple cultures and languages that had on your life and how it played a part in your development of your disease. I mean, feeling pulled in many belief directions, which I can easily see how that could happen. Can you talk to us about your life before your illness struck and what you believe caused your cancer?
With me, I believe it was, I'll sum it up in one word, and that word would be fear. But I'm going to clarify that or put some conditions on it, because I know that certain fears are good, like, you know, we have to fear getting close to fire or crossing a street or things like that. But I was what I would call pathologically fearful. I feared being disliked. I feared not meeting other people's expectations. I feared failing. I feared not being spiritual enough. I feared just about everything. And I think a lot of people live like that, but they don't realize it. And I was very, very critical of myself. And so every decision, for example, every decision I would make in my life, everything I did was based on fear. So if I did things for other people, it wasn't because I wanted to do them or because I loved them or cared for them. It was because I wanted them to like me, or because I was afraid of what they would think of me if I didn't do it. So I was always trying to keep up with other people. I was also a people pleaser. In addition, I was also, even when I used to choose the foods I ate, I would choose them out of fear. So, for example, it would be a fear of getting cancer, a fear of gaining weight, you know, rather than eating food out of the pleasure of the food or out of a joy for wanting to live longer and therefore choose healthy foods for that reason. It wasn't for those reasons. I would choose them out of a fear, like, oh, my God, eating this causes cancer, so I better not eat it. So life was no fun for me. It was very heavy. Life was very dogmatic, heavy. I was constantly doing things that I believed would make me a more spiritual person. I was constantly doing things that I believed would make people like me more, and so on.
And, you know, this is very interesting. I have to slip this in. We've had great response to your show, perhaps as far as in the last couple of months, more than I have in any other show. In fact, we have a caller already, and I think we're going to end up doing that running out of time thing. We might have to have you back again. So
sure.
I'm going to go see what question they have. Maybe this will launch some really good stuff. You've reached the Uvisualeyes Show. Who's calling?
Hi, my name is Rosie.
Hi, Rosie. What's your question?
Yes, I do. Hi,
okay,
Anita. I do have a question. Do you still ever experience fear or anxiety or worry? And if you do, what do you do to get yourself out of it?
I do get it from time to time, but I don't live in it in a perpetual state as I did before, because now I know what it feels like to not live in fear. So after my near-death experience, it was like I was living in this amazing state of joy and euphoria, and I couldn't find the fear anymore. So now I know what it feels like, because when I was living in fear, I didn't even notice it was there, because that was the normal state. You know, it's kind of like when you have the noise of an air conditioner going on in the background. You don't notice it until someone turns it off, and then you notice, oh, there was a noise. I didn't notice it. So that's how it feels like when you're actually living in fear. You don't notice it's there because it's just your normal state. So I noticed when it was gone, but now when it comes back, I do notice it because I've had that contrast. And so this is what I talk to people about, is that become aware. I want you to become aware of this state that you can get into and not even realize that you're in this state. And it can just take you over, and you can just live in it perpetually without realizing that you're living in this state of fear. And what I do about it is I become aware that I'm in this state of fear, and then once I become aware, I go inward. I do whatever it takes to uplift myself, whether it means going for a walk in nature, listening to music, meditating, going with friends, laughing, anything like that to uplift me. When I'm in that place of upliftment, I then start to remind myself of, in my NDE state, all I had to do was let go and trust. When we're in a state of fear, what we start to do, because we're fearful, our mind is constantly searching for the next thing to do. It's like, okay, what do I do about this? I've got to do about this. When we're in a state of joy, we are in a state of being. Our mind stops looking for something to do. We're suddenly in this place of trusting that all is well with the world, and it's like there is nothing to do. We just have to be who we are and enjoy the moment. And that's what I look for now. It's like, okay, let go, just trust, and get into this state of just being in the moment.
Okay.
I hope that answered your question, Rosie.
Yes, it did. And I have one more question, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
It's about karma and your view on it, because oftentimes I fear, one of the things I fear is karma coming back and biting me in the butt, and, you know, you can't get out of it. So, and maybe you're supposed to go through something hard in order to pay back the karma. So just your views on karma and how you experienced it in the other state, or if you have any any thoughts about it.
Before my near-death experience, I used to view karma exactly as you described it. I felt there was no way out of karma. I even felt my cancer might be my karma. And I used to constantly live in fear of what karma was. And so my life was focused on trying to be more spiritual so that I could have good karma in the next life. I don't anymore. Karma is not written in stone in that way. Karma is not hard and fast rules. It's very fluid. It's just a form of balance, a form of yin and yang. And if you live in joy, if you just live in joy, uplift yourself, laugh, have a sense of humor about life, laugh at yourself, take it easy, be happy, you will be fine. Life is for living now, here. It's not about focusing on your karma and trying to do things to make your next life or your afterlife a better place. And that's what I really learned, is that we miss out on our current experience and on our present moment if we're constantly worried about the future and about our karma. The way to create the best future possible is to actually find joy in your present moment. And that is your only responsibility. Find joy in this moment right now. And if you do that in every moment, you will have a joyful future.
Interesting.
Oh,
okay.
That's a beautiful response. Thank you so much. I agree. I don't know that I'm just enjoying this moment right here, right now, with these beautiful people. And so that's just fantastic. And thank you so much for your question, Rosie.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Hello, you reached the Uvisualeyes Show.
Hello.
Hello, who's calling?
Hi, it's Kate here. Thanks, Michelle.
Hi, Kate. What's your question?
Hello, Anita. Thank you so much for giving this interview, and I think I speak for everybody when I say thank you for choosing to come back.
Definitely.
Thank you, Anita. The question I wanted to ask you about, if I may, is in your book you talk about when you were in the timeless realm in your near-death experience, you talk about your awareness of your magnificence and the perfection of yourself and everything, and that no matter how things played out, it was all perfect in the grand scheme of things. And when you started to talk in your book later on about the awareness that brings to your life now, you also mentioned the word perfection again, and you were saying that even though you still have fearful moments and moments where you're not, completely aligned with that awareness, that you're still absolutely perfect in that moment. And I just wondered if you could say a little bit more about that, please.
Sure. When I say everything is perfect, I don't mean that it has to be static, because a lot of us seem to think that when we say something is perfect, that's it. It's static. It's set in stone exactly that way. But that's not what I mean. What I mean is that every moment is perfect, because in that moment, in every moment, we are doing the best we can with what we know in that moment. And I believe every single person, no matter what they're doing, even the ones that make the biggest mistakes, are still only reacting in that moment in the best way they can with what they know in that moment. Because hindsight is always 20/20. But in that moment, they're always doing the best. So in every moment, we are actually perfect. But at the same time, perfection doesn't mean that we have to be static and stay in that state or in those feelings or in that knowledge. Our knowledge is always accumulating. We're always gaining more knowledge, learning more lessons, getting better at different things and improving in certain ways. But it doesn't mean that we're not perfect in that moment. So that's kind of what I mean, because the worst thing we can do to ourselves is constantly judge ourselves harshly. And this is why I say, and when we realize this, we can let that moment go and live our fullest in the next moment. Because when we don't realize that we're perfect and we think that we're not perfect, we're constantly criticizing, damn, I should have known better, I should have done this differently. Bring it forward with us into the next moment and the next and the next. And this is how we create a disastrous future rather than a really good future. What I mean is that let it go. That moment was perfect as it was. Now let's create a new moment and so on.
Wow, that's a different perspective, isn't it? I really appreciate that. And it really linked in with that, Anita. Sort of a related question I wanted to ask you really was, you were talking about having the awareness when you were in your near-death experience that if you chose to come back to your body, that your body would heal, that such a profound shift had already taken place within you, that would, your body would kind of conform to that new, I can't even find the words, but that new kind of energetic imprint, if you like, that new perspective. And so your transformation was kind of instantaneous, as I understand it, but your body kind of had to catch up when you got back. So how can you, what can you say about how we can, without having to have a near-death experience, how can we transcend our lifetime of conditioning and the dogma and ideas and beliefs that might be holding us back? What's the best way of us approaching that without having to go through an NDE?
What I would want you to know that no matter what you're dealing with, when people are dealing with challenges in their life or illnesses and so on, don't make your life about the illness. Stop focusing on the challenge or on the illness, because the more you focus on that, the more you're actually feeling like an ill person or whatever other challenge. It could be a financial challenge. It could be any of those things. You need to live your life as the person that the end result of what you want to be. So whether it's a well person or somebody who is not struggling financially or whatever it is, you need to actually be that person from the inside out. Start to be that person and realize that even this moment, this opportunity to go through this is still perfect, but I am not that person. I am not somebody who is financially unstable. It's just something I'm going through. I'm not somebody who, cancer is not my personality. Whatever it is, I say cancer because that's what I went through. When we make that our life focus, then the body also responds to that. But when we stop make that our life focus, and when we make our life focus about being joyful and about being healthy for the sake of being joyful, then our body has to catch up with what we are feeling on an energetic level. So focus constantly on uplifting your energy, not on how to get rid of that situation that you consider negative. So your focus needs to be on that, your energy being uplifted and in the joyful state and doing the things that make you feel fulfilled, as though your dreams have been fulfilled and as though you're living in that joyful state.
That's really wonderful. Thank you. I did have a sense when I was reading your book that that actually, in a way, that the sort of the whole area of sort of self-improvement and seeking spiritual growth can be a little bit counterproductive at times, because it kind of implies that we need to get somewhere and we're not there now. But the thing that I got loud and clear from your book is just realizing that you are there now if you choose to be, and allow your body and your life and everything else to morph to fit is actually the best way to go.
Your body has to catch up with who you are. Your only obligation is to be who you are, and your body will catch up to fit that. And if we're constantly focused on trying to do this and trying to do that, all our entire experience will be about trying to be something.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you, Michelle, for creating this opportunity.
You're quite welcome, Kate, and thank you for your wonderful questions. It cleared some things up for me as well. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, that really brings me to some other stuff I have, but I have another caller. We have some excited people, so let's go see what they have to say. Hello, this is Uvisualeyes Show. Who's calling?
Hi, Michelle. This is Tiffany speaking.
Hi, Tiffany.
Hi. Thanks, first of all, to Anita for the wonderful book, Dying to be Me. I think I waited a lifetime to read that book. It was really amazing. So I'm just so appreciative of you putting that out there for us.
Thank you so much.
So I did have a question, Anita, and you've already touched upon this. I kind of just wanted to delve a little bit deeper, really about obviously the enlightening experience that your NDE was, and being able to bring that back into almost like our current living. And I know for myself and clients that I've worked with who find it very easy to tap into that bliss and that joy when they're perhaps meditating, or perhaps there's lots of space in their lives. But when the lives get busy, there's perhaps projects and deadlines, or things that need to be done that perhaps aren't fun. It's kind of like that state sort of disappears. And I just wondered if you had any top tips for how we can merge the two so that we can be enjoying both.
Can forget sometimes. As I said, even I go through phases like that. But when I can just say stop, no matter how busy I am, it can feel really uncomfortable when you have like a million things piled up and you just need go, and then for you to just say stop. But I have to do this nowadays, because if I just say stop, and then I go into my sacred space internally. When I say sacred space, I mean within myself. And it could be, space in your home. It can be going out in nature, whatever. I usually find, and this has happened every time without fail, if I take 30 minutes or 1 hour of going into my space, when I come out of it and continue with tasks I have, what I find happened is that different things have fallen into place during that time when I went away, which has actually made my work easier. Not even going to try and explain it, because I don't even know how it happens, except that I know we're all connected. But I am not exaggerating when I say that if I just come from my mind and don't take that break and just go, I start to become drained, and I find I'm pushing against the current, and I'm doing things, and constantly I'm just doing, and the end of the day I'm exhausted and I still haven't finished everything. But if I take 1 hour out and go and meditate, spend time with nature, connect, hug a tree, sit at the beach, watch the waves, come back into it, and I will, that something has happened, someone else has gone and done 10 things which I would have myself up to go and do. And I'll go back and say, oh, do you know what? While you were away, this happened, so you don't have to do this anymore. And things will have just cleared. That's all I can really say. It really does happen.
I think I'll be downloading this episode and replaying those words over and over again when I need to hear them. Can I just ask one sort of follow-up question to that, which is that you used two of my favourite words before, because you talked about letting go. And it sometimes, it's really easy to get into that kind of clear space where you can just, allow everything to happen. There are other times where it seems like no matter what I do, my head still won't let go. Is there anything that you've discovered that works really well for just being able to park thoughts or, park projects or whatever that are getting in the way?
Yeah, it's really difficult, because sometimes what we're doing, the reason why we have trouble letting go is because you're using your mind to focus on letting go, but the problem is your mind. So when you're trying to use your mind to let go, it's quite difficult. So what I would suggest is to shift the focus from your mind to your body, and either sit really comfortable or lie down and then focus on your body. And you can start from the top of your head and just feel the muscles. And so I go through this little exercise where I just kind of feel the muscles in my head, in my forehead, my brows, and I allow them to relax. Just feel the tension slipping away from my forehead, and then feel the tension slipping away from my jaws, my neck, my shoulder, every detail of your body. So you're not thinking of your mind and the projects or anything anymore. Just put your focus on your body, but work your way down and like start from the top, from the crown of your head, and feel the muscles just letting go of all the tension that you're carrying in your body. And by the time you're finished, like as you go down, feel the tension lifting from your shoulders, from your wrists, from your hands, your fingers. Take about 20 minutes to go slowly down your body, feeling the tension lifting. And you can have music playing, whatever you want, but you will find that your mind will definitely let go, because you're kind of disconnecting. And as I said, the mistake we make is when we think we can use our mind to let go of our mind. We cannot, because that is the cause of it.
That makes complete sense. And something else that I recognized not too long ago is that a big part of it is being attached to the outcome, being being perfect the way I think it should be. So my mind stays real busy trying to make sure that it comes out perfect. Just like last night, I had trouble sleeping with the same kind of things of making sure things come out perfect, and I couldn't let it go until I started saying my mantra, and then I fell asleep, of course.
You bring up a really good point, Michelle. It's when you have a preconceived idea of what perfection is, then that's even more stress in our minds, because things don't always come out that way. Letting go of what you think the outcome should be and believing that what the universe has for you can actually be a much greater gift than what you can imagine. You limit it. When you put an image or an expectation that this is the outcome I want, you're actually limiting your experience, because there's much more out there than you can conceive or imagine.
Thanks, Anita. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you, Tiffany. And that just brings me to a perfect moment in the book that challenged me quite a bit, Anita. And there was a question: what part in your healing and recovery did your belief system or faith play, if any, and how have your beliefs changed since then? And the response part that I so identified is needing certainty. That needing certainty shackles your potential. And I'd like you to talk some more about that, because this one challenged me, because I'm an avid student of law of attraction. And the premise behind law of attraction is that we need to change our beliefs. So students of law of attraction are finding new, more positive beliefs to replace the old ones. And here you say that needing certainty or beliefs shackles your potential. So how do we stop needing certainty? Because this idea was a little uncomfortable, because people need certainty to feel, in order to feel safe and secure.
Yes. Okay. This is going to require a longish answer, so I'll need a few minutes to explain this. When we start to believe that we have to change our thoughts, we start to become very judgmental of the thoughts that we're having, or critical about our thoughts. We think, oh, God, that was a negative thought. Oh, no, I've got to cut that. I've got to stop that. And we start watching our thoughts and becoming very judgmental, and then we start fearing that, oh, no, I'm thinking negatively there. That's going to attract something bad. And I am going to say that I was also a fan of law of attraction before I had my near-death experience. And I felt that I was so fearful of my negative thoughts, thinking it was contributing to my cancer. What I want to tell people is, do not be afraid of your thoughts. They will pass. The more I judge and criticize and suppress my negative thoughts, the more they will push back, because I am actually suppressing a part of who I am, which means I am judging myself and I am bringing more fear into my life that, oh no, I shouldn't be thinking that. I've got to stop thinking that. So for me, it's more important to be myself than to force myself to think positively all the time. Be myself, and I will end up being positive more often than not. But it's very important to honor my feelings. Now, what I would invite you all to do is to learn to love yourself, value yourself. And if you love yourself, the more you value yourself, the more respect you have for yourself, that is the gauge, that is what the world will reflect back to you. It's how you feel about yourself. The happier you are, the more that the world will reciprocate and give you happy people, happy events. The more you love and respect yourself, the more deserving you will feel for happiness. So it's not just about having positive thoughts, because sometimes we suppress our thoughts when they're not so positive. But if we don't suppress it, they pass. They just pass. Just allow it, and it passes. And there was something else you said I wanted to address, where you said about letting go and not of our
needing
beliefs.
to be certain.
To be certain. Okay.
Yeah.
So an example of the warehouse in my book, and this is what I wanted to explain a little bit, is that life is like we are going through life by the beam of one flashlight in the dark. And what is lit up with the beam of our one flashlight, that is what we can see. And when I was in my near-death experience, it was as though the floodlights had been switched on, and I could suddenly see as though I was in this huge warehouse where I couldn't even see the ends of the warehouse, but it was as though there were shelves and shelves and shelves filled with things that I never even knew existed. And they existed simultaneously alongside with things that I knew existed. And the only things that I knew existed were things which my little flashlight had shone on. But there were millions of things that I had never known before that had existed, but because my flashlight had never shone on them, I never knew they existed. But there they were in the floodlight. I could see everything existed simultaneously: good, bad, positive, negative, amazing things, amazing experiences, okay experiences. Everything existed. Now, going back to life and living as though the lights have gone back off and I'm just making my way through life again with just one flashlight, I realize that if I hold on to what my flashlight has seen and I think, okay, my flashlight has seen that, I want to hold on to that, I'm limiting my experience, because there's so much more out there which I have not seen. When I let go and when I trust and when I realize that all I have to do is be my authentic self, I actually feel guided, and my flashlight will actually find things that I didn't even know existed, but are actually the greater gifts. And when all I have to do is be myself and let go of what I think I want, I actually end up receiving what is truly mine, and that's always the greater gift.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's almost like trusting the dark, that there will be wonderful, beautiful things in the dark beyond your flashlight. And for me, it's interesting. That helps so much because right after I read Chapter 7, I went for a walk, and it was a beautiful spring day in Germany, and I was really feeling quite happy and light. And I started thinking about last year, all within months of each other. My brother, mother, and cousin died. It was like bam, bam, bam. And I had been struggling with many fears after that, and sadness and displacement. And also I struggled with sadness and fears over what I believed my mother and my brother felt when they died. I was certain that they felt excruciating pain, fear, loneliness. However, I recalled when you explained what dying was like, and you said you felt, free of pain and fear, and it felt so light. full of expanded awareness and joy, and that you finally understood why you did everything that you did, and you started feeling more complete, and you, of course, experienced the healing. And then I thought again about the moment my brother and my mother died, and I was walking down the street and laughing and crying and laughing and crying with relief and joy, because I realized that I no longer thought of my brother and my mother's moment of death as horrible, their last moments as horrible. Simultaneously, I was laughing and crying in relief and joy for them. And I just wanted to say that to you because you gave me a great gift.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. That's such a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure you were laughing because your mother and your brother are laughing. And this, I always, we're still holding on to guilt for loved ones that have passed on. They would not be happy if you're spending the rest of your life in guilt, no matter what circumstances under which you lost them. Absolutely, no matter what circumstances it was in, no matter what situation your relationship was in, nothing will make them happier than to see you happy right now. So this is what I would want everybody to know. Anybody who has lost a loved one, do not feel guilty about seeking happiness again, because they would want that for you. They really would, because they are free. They're absolutely free, and they are living in joy and happiness right now.
It's so helped me move forward, because I was actually on holiday when my mom passed, and I didn't know till the next day. And so I had a lot of other, like you said, guilt and feeling quite like a bad daughter, because I was on vacation, But after reading your book, it just released me, and I have to say that as well to our listeners, that just what you said, that now I started laughing because I felt my family's joy at that moment, that my perception of death is so based in fear that I never even thought about that. And Mr. Wayne Dyer, the beautiful man, because I found your book by way of him, and because of all the death, it was suggested that I read your book because I had dealt with so much. And of course, like always, or many times, he was correct. I think many of us have lots of thank yous for him, and especially from me, thank you for your book.
Thank you. I have a huge thank you for Wayne Dyer. I mean, he has been amazing in my life, and I cannot thank him enough as well. So he is a wonderful, wonderful man, and a great gift to all of us and to me. And yes, your loved ones who have passed on, they would want you to laugh every single day. They really would. And that was one of the biggest realizations. People tell me, what have you brought from the other side? Is there a doctrine or something I need to follow, or anything I need to know, any commandment, anything? And I say the biggest thing over and above everything else is don't take life seriously and learn to laugh. That is really the biggest thing. I think that if I had discovered this when I was, let's say, if I was 85 or at the end of my life, if I was going for the final time, and that's when I realized it, that would have been my biggest regret. I am just so grateful that I have had an opportunity to come back and actually do that, to laugh and to take life much easier. And that's what I would tell it.
I completely agree. And you have so many beautiful words, and we could not possibly cover it in hours of talking for sure. But what I know you have another interview, so I'd like to wrap up with talk to us about becoming aware of how magnificent we are as human beings.
Oh, we are all absolutely amazing human beings. And we are capable of so much more than we realize. And we are born knowing this. You think of a baby, you think of a little child before they've been conditioned through school and through the fears that we learn throughout our lives. And it's nobody's fault, it's just the way society happens to be. But we've all had it conditioned out of us. But in actuality, we are absolutely amazing, magnificent human beings, and we're all connected. So we spend our time thinking we're all separate, and we compete with each other, and we fight with each other, and we think there's not enough to go around in the world, and I've got to be better than the... No, actually, we don't have to go out and pursue things and chase after things and feel like there's not enough to go around. We just have to be ourselves, and when we are ourselves, we allow the things that are truly ours to come into our lives, because we are our energy far greater than this physical body, and because we are all connected, just by being authentic from the inside, that is what we will be putting out. When we forget how amazing and magnificent we are, that's when we live in fear. And living in fear means going out and pursuing and competing and needing to be better than everyone else to prove ourselves. That's a fear-based living, and that's what I mean about living in fear. And when we are like that, we're actually pushing away everything we really deserve. And so we are kind of running on a treadmill and feeling like life is tough and it's a rat race. And the more we pursue it, the more we find things are out of reach. But as soon as we stop and go inward and just realize that I am worthy, I am magnificent, I am amazing, I'm more powerful than I ever realized. And when we realize we are worthy, this is what we project. This is what we project when we meet people. This is what we project as we make our way through the world. And this is what actually comes to us.
That's beautiful. And like Kate said, I'm going to be listening to my own show over and over to catch all those words, be typing out a transcript. We have a caller, so we're trying to make this real quick because I know you have to go. You've reached the Uvisualeyes Show. Hello.
Yeah, hello. I can ask my question?
Yes.
Yes, I write music. I'm a composer, and it's so amazing to hear the story about the flashlight and how you don't really know everything else there is, and if you're always going back to the same thing you started with, and you already know safely that nothing happens. There's no, your life doesn't gel. The emotions you're trying to express don't find a home. And instead you can follow your joy. That's just amazing to hear that.
It is beautiful.
I just wanted to say that. Anita had something to say about that because it's so helpful to hear how to let go of fear that way. That you can let go of fear and follow your joy, and you'll be guided.
Yeah, in fact, hold on to your beliefs or everything that you already know, the more you're actually limiting your experience. You're limiting yourself from new things coming in and new gifts that could be on your way or on its way all the time. So don't limit the gifts. Just open yourself up and trust and just free yourself. That's great advice. Is that helpful?
Yeah, it's very helpful, yeah.
Thank you so much for calling in and letting her know that. I'm sure that's real inspiring and important to Anita.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard of A Course in Miracles, and Anita says basically the same things in a very neat, different perspective. And there's also books like the Muted Message books, but she's such a gift to the world. I couldn't live without it. To hear the amazing story that you can go to your spirit self and heal everything.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
You're beautiful.
It's so wonderful to hear how many lives that you've touched and how many times we might reread your book and pass on the information. I hope that, Anita, that you'll come back again. I'm sure that our caller might have some questions again and some more questions in the future. I would love to come back. In fact, your callers are so beautiful. They actually make me feel tears of joy. They really do. It's been a very, very moving interview for me. Well, that makes me feel good. I was almost in tears, and there's not too many times that I have been in tears when I was on the show, but you have touched me in beautiful, wonderful ways. So as I close the Uvisualeyes Show today, I invite you to visit Anita's website, AnitaMoorjani.com, and it's on the radio show as well, the web page, and where you can learn more about her experience. You can order Anita Moorjani's book, Dying to Be Me, from her site, as well as Amazon or hayhouse.com, or really anywhere books are sold. Also, I believe that Dying to Be Me will be translated in German in August. Is this correct, Anita?
That's correct. It's being launched in August. I think in 3 weeks it'll be available on Amazon.
You know, broadcasting from Germany, I'm sure that my listeners will be very pleased to hear. I mean, many of them do speak English and stuff, but it's always easier in your own language, your own mother tongue. Personally, I deeply value this book for how it changed my view of death as well as life. Anita, your openness about your experience and your desire to help others understand their divinity is truly our gift. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your valuable book.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We have 2 minutes. Leave us with your parting words.
All right. The most important thing is really to find your joy, to share your joy, and to laugh. And your life is your prayer. It's your gift to the universe. So your only job is to be as you can be and leave amazing memories behind for everybody who you leave behind when you exit this world. And just do whatever it takes to be happy, because when you're happy, you uplift everybody around you.
That's beautiful. And I will be in contact for another interview, I'm sure. You have a fantastic day, Anita.
You too. You have an amazing day. I really enjoyed it.
Me too. Bye-bye.
Hi, Tiffany Kay here, transformational coach and the creator of Your Life Too. Women are really good at putting the needs of others before themselves. It means that many have lost sight of their dreams and don't know what they want. This is a time of awakening. We are being called to find our purpose and passion and to make our unique contribution to the world. And it all starts with taking back your life. Your Life Too is a home study and online coaching program for women who are feeling stuck or facing big changes. You will discover a 5-step formula that helps you to create the kind of life you would really like to have. It's a life full of passion and fun. It's a life where you get to make up the rules. It's a life of choice. It's an inspired life. For more information, visit the website at yourlife2.com. It's your life. It's your time. Make it count.
That was a wonderful message from my colleague and friend, Tiffany K. Visit yourlife2.com and find out more about Tiffany's wonderful, wonderful counsel. I'd like you to visit my website, themichellecraft.com, where you can learn more on creating the life you prefer using the tools there provided, such as personalized visualizing videos that I design and produce starring you, as well as articles, resources, and healing and life transformation guidance with me. Anybody who has further questions, I'm sure that Anita would be very pleased to answer at a later date. If you want to send your messages to my Facebook, michellecraft.com, or you can go to my new page, Facebook page. It's the Uvisualeyes Facebook page, and that's brand new. There, when you visit, you can listen to previous shows, as well as shows that were translated and put into a still photo video, and listen to them on YouTube, where you can find as well on my Uvisualeyes YouTube channel and listen at any time. This is truly one of the more inspiring shows that we've had on Uvisualeyes with Anita Moorjani, Dying to Be Me, and I will be making a still photo video of this show, and I'll put that on YouTube. It'll be on Uvisualeyes YouTube channel, as well as, like I said, the new Facebook page for the Uvisualeyes Show. So take a look at that page and give me a little like. I'm looking for the 30 mark. It's brand new, so we haven't gotten too many just yet. Anyway, thank you for listening. This has been your life transformation coach, energy healer, and host of the Uvisualeyes Show, Michelle Craft. Until next time, happy creating and have a delicious day.